networking. You either love it or you hate it. For me, I always was nervous about networking because I felt it was showing up to sell. I have learned that when you focus on the relationships, you show genuine care and concern, it can change the game. And that is exactly what we're talking about today. We're going to be diving in to helping you build clarity and confidence in the way of building connections, not just networking. So stay tuned because we're ready to dive in to clarity in action. Welcome to Clarity in Action. This is the show where we have real conversations that are going to challenge your perspectives and drive real action. So if you are tired of holding back and you're ready to make bold moves, this is the show for you. Join us as we are going to take you from confusion into clarity. Cassandra, welcome to the show. I have been so excited to get you on. How are you doing today?
I'm good. It's a busy day. Happy to do this.
Yeah, I know you've got so many wonderful things happening. You know, the topic that we're talking about with you is the difference between networking and connecting, because there is a vast difference in being able to create real value and build relationships as far as growing our business. Before we dive into some strategies and importance of it, I would love to ask you, what was your moment of clarity that called you to understand the importance of connecting over just networking?
Yeah. So networking to me when I was in college felt like using people, right? I wanted to work in television and people would tell me it's all about who you know, you got to get coffee with people. And I thought that meant like, oh, then I didn't earn the job. Somebody introduced me, so I didn't earn the job. And then a woman came into my intro to mass media class and essentially shared her career journey in college into getting her first job. And she was very high up at K-Rock, which is a radio station in LA, back when radio stations mattered. And so it was like, oh, here's this impressive person telling me how she did it. And essentially her story at the beginning of her career was someone came into one of her classes that owned all the radio stations on the Eastern Seaboard, and she kept in touch with him. And she would make jokes with him, and she treated him like a human and he treated her like a human. And it hit me, oh, that's networking. It's just creating real relationships. That's not how people hear the word networking, but it really changed it for me, that it's creating authentic relationships. And sometimes those land you interviews, you still earn the job, or sometimes those land you client referrals, but it's still on you at the end of the day. But it really reframed it that it's not this trading of business cards or somebody, tabulating favors. It's getting to know people and that then helping each other out when the time is right.
Definitely. And first of all, love K-Rock, huge fan myself back in the day. This is so huge because I know for me, networking meetings, groups would come up and I would always be like, oh, I don't want to go. I got to find all my business cards. You're absolutely right. And that idea that I always felt kind of icky too. It was, how can you help me? How can you help me? And rather than seeing, okay, let's even see if we know each other, if we like each other.
Right.
And, you really have become an expert in this. This is something that you coach people on, you speak on, especially in the realm of, social media, in addition to face. What are you finding are some of the biggest mistakes that people are making when they are reaching out to do this? Because I think a lot of people don't want to be icky with it. They just don't know how to do it the right way.
I think in terms of getting to know people, we try and rush the relationship. So you might know that you're networking because you want to work at that company one day, right? And you're trying to have a one-on-one with someone at that company, or that you need new clients and this person could be an ideal client. And we try and rush the process instead of getting to know the person. And so the more you spend the time on the front end, just being like, hey, I just want to know you. I want to hear about you. What are you about? What are you working on? The better the relationship will go and the more they will want to work with you down the road. Now, I want to clarify with that. That doesn't mean like if you meet somebody and you could help them in some way, you can't tell them. I met someone at a conference this weekend who said, oh, I've been trying to use LinkedIn and trying to meet these people at Amazon, and it's not working. Something's not going right. I'm not going to sit on the fact that I have LinkedIn coaching that could help her, but I'm also not going to go, I have this LinkedIn coaching that could help you. Here's my sales page. Here's what you need. It was just like, oh, we should talk later about how we could work together. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a big one, is people want in one conversation or one interaction, whether that's online or in person, to, I say, like, complete the loop on the relationship. Yeah. And it should actually just keep on going.
Yeah. I love that you said that, because there was a time where I was getting really frustrated because I was growing my business. And so I needed direction. I needed answers. And every time I would ask somebody for help, it was exactly what you said. Oh, I've got a class for that. Why don't you? And I'm just like, can someone just give me 10 minutes of just some direction? Right. And the people who were willing to go above and beyond to say, you know what, let me just look at this for you. Let me give you some direction. They were the ones I really wanted to follow up with and would feel comfortable working with, because they treated me like a human being. They stopped to help me. It's that whole thing of, oh, let's lead with kindness.
Yeah, with that too. I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to like give away your free coaching or anything, but people can stop and take a minute to give someone a direction that shows them, I can trust you to learn more, rather than being like, oh, if you want to know more about that, you have to book a call with me. Exactly. It doesn't need to work that way.
Absolutely. And, I think of so many times that I've done this the wrong way, by showing up and being like, okay, let's exchange business cards, and so it really is an art to be able to pay attention. And I want to get your take on this. I was taught one time to go into any type of conversation looking first for, how can I help them build their business? Who can I connect them with, more so than who can they connect me with? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. Ooh, I have some controversial thoughts on this. So on the surface, I agree, right? The point of that kind of messaging is stop thinking about yourself, focus on the other person. That I completely agree with. The more we go into everything being like, okay, I got to get a client, or I got to get a lead for a job, or I got to meet somebody who could collaborate, whatever it is, we're focused on us and we're not going to help people. So at base level, the fact that advice is focus on others instead of yourself, completely agree. Where I have trouble is when it becomes, how can I help them? Help. What you hear a lot in networking is give value first. And I think help is a lesser version of, like, a lesser loaded version of that, but it's still this idea of, I have to find something to contribute that they find worthy. Mm-hmm. And we then put a ton of pressure on ourselves. And especially if we're talking to somebody that we find to be above us in some way, whether that's a title, they're farther along in their journey, or we just respect in some way. And now we're sitting there going, okay, I have to make a really good impression on this person. I got to figure out how to help them. What can I do for them, etc. And what I have seen is that advice backfire sometimes, of people. I'm sure you've had this happen where people try it with you and they end up kind of insulting you. Like, hey, I really enjoy you. I wanted to help you out. I saw this post you made, but it had some typos in it. So I rewrote it for it. You're like, that's not what I was looking for.
You've been looking at my posts.
What I would say, I'm saying it from getting these sorts of emails and messages. How I would pivot that advice is, how can you show care? Care takes the pressure off. We're still looking at the other person. We're still focusing on them over ourselves, but we can all care for somebody, even if we can't technically figure out how to help, right? So you should still be mindful of, what are they looking for? Who could I introduce them to? But I've seen too many people walk away from a conversation and go, well, shoot, I know they want to talk to this type of person. I know no one who does that. And so I don't know how I can help them. Mm-hmm. Well, what you can do is you can follow up and say, it was so great talking to you. I know you're looking to speak with, let's say, like, you're trying to find a new, I always use this example because it doesn't have to be work related. Let's say they say, we're trying to find a new nanny. You can go, I know you're looking for a new nanny. I don't know anyone at this moment, but I just want you to know I'm on the hunt for you, or I'm keeping you top of mind. That's caring for a person. So I like to take the pressure off because people are already so scared of, I have to do networking right.
Mm-hmm.
We think there's a right way and that we're missing it. And so that is my very long-winded example of why I pivot
Mm-hmm.
sort of the meaning behind that sort of advice.
And I appreciate that because there has been time, and I'm going to give an example. I met someone and he's in cybersecurity. He's brilliant. I have no idea who to connect him with. That's just not the level, So I would
Right.
feel bad because I'd be like, okay, well, I don't know how to help him. So I love
Yeah.
this idea of how can I show care, whether it's saying, let me help share your posts, or there's other ways
Right.
I can support them rather than just connecting. And then the idea you gave of the nanny, sometimes the best way that we can show care is no business related whatsoever. It's on a human.
It is honestly my favorite thing. It is
Mm-hmm.
my favorite thing in the whole world to explain to people, like, you are just trying to connect with another human. So it is great if
Yeah.
if you get in a conversation, a networking event, and you look at somebody and go, oh, I like your necklace. Where'd you get that? And they say, oh, it's this little store called Target. And then you guys spend 20 minutes talking about why you both love Target. Beautiful. You have made a relationship. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be work-based all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you focus heavily on LinkedIn. What is it about LinkedIn that you feel is so powerful?
Well, first off, I think that goes back to when I was starting out. LinkedIn came on the scene about a year into my full-time work world, but I need to explain a little bit. So, when I was in college, I interned for On Air with Ryan Seacrest when it was a TV show, not the radio show. There was a TV show. It lasted one season. And they gave you at the start of the season the contact list of everyone on the show. And literally, I held that in my hands and went, this is my network. Like, this is it. This is all I got. And of course, everyone's email on it was at the name of the show.com or some version of that, right? Well, then the show gets canceled. Poof, my network goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And then this tool comes out a year later called LinkedIn. And all of a sudden, I can put in anyone's name and find them and gain back and stay in touch with these people that working in an industry where people job hop all the time. I needed that. I needed that tool to be able to stay in touch with people. That was also right before cell phones became the thing that we didn't switch them all the time. So now we all have numbers for 20 years, whether we move states or not. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
But back then we didn't have that. So I love it for access. I love it that I can find anyone and I can reach out. Like, people, I think, take this for granted so much now. But back in the day, this is my television brain, I can't help myself. Back in the day, if you were a kid in Iowa who wanted to work in TV, you had to get on a bus. It was never a plane, by the way. They never drove their car. They always got on a bus. You had to get on a bus, drive to Hollywood, and get a job waiting tables and hope and pray that you made some connection and somebody helped you out. Now that kid in Iowa can be chatting it up with anyone at any studio in town, right? Like, and have an internship or a job waiting for them. And you could say the same thing for any industry. This goes back to the girl I met this weekend wanting to talk to Amazon. She can go to the person in the department in the city that she's looking for in the global conglomerate that is Amazon and try and reach out directly to them. Yeah. That is buck wild. Mm-hmm. And I don't think people enjoy that, like focus on that enough. So for that reason, I love it. Now, the problem I would say is most people find the person they want and then go back to what I was talking about before. If they want to close the loop immediately, so they find them, and it's probably what everyone hates about LinkedIn. They go, Hi, Clara. I saw you speak for a living and have a podcast. I would love to do a consulting call with you. Would you like to get on it? And you're like, I don't know your
Right.
last name yet. Like, what is this? So after you've gotten to meet people, that's what I love helping people with is how do we turn this into a real relationship
Mm-hmm.
and not just jump straight to our
Right.
needs and wants. But that access is just one of the reasons why I find it amazing.
Exactly. And I know that you have your coaching program and, we want to be able to serve people through that. Can you give us maybe though, just one or two little tips
Yeah.
that are good for networking the right way on LinkedIn?
I think number one, if you reach out with every connection invite should have a message with it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to do it, be honest about why you're reaching out, but also be trustworthy by not asking for that call immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I ask people, like I have fully told people, hey, I'm going to be honest. I found you in search. I was looking for something and you fit the bill. And then I'll say, I'm really looking to learn more about whatever they do and say, I would love to connect and learn more. Now, this is trust point number one. There are going to be plenty of people who right at that point go, this is leading to a call. I'm not doing it. But there are some people who are going to connect and go, I'm going to take her at her word. And then it's my turn to prove their trust is paying off, that my next message is not, oh, great. Thank you so much for connecting. Would you like to get on a call? I ask them a question. I ask them about them. Down the road, there can be a call. I even love to have a call that's just a getting to know you call. And I never talk about sales at all, just to learn who the person is. But that's one thing I would say. The other thing on the opposite end, talking about profile. So if you want, like maybe you're not getting found for the right things, you want people to find you, your headline matters greatly. Your headline is SEO friendly, and you should be using all the characters available to you. So just having your title at your job doesn't do anything. Having a title that says founder, that's my personal favorite, founder. No one's searching for a founder. So tell me who you help. Tell me what you're skilled at. If someone was searching to hire you, what are the words they'd be searching for? They're probably not searching for founder, things like that. So adding that in to make that headline more robust is going to help you out in the long run.
Yeah. And I love that. And I love the idea that I have genuine curiosity. So similar, it's like, tell me your story. Tell me about how you got started. I want to learn about them because even though they might have a platform, if I don't even like them, I probably don't want to work with them. So let's even get to know each other first. Talk to me though, also because we've heard the post and ghost. So I could be out there connecting and sending messages and saying, oh, I'd love to learn more about this. But isn't part of also building trust and showing your value in being consistent and showing up, not just for your posts, but also engaging with them?
So post and ghost is the thing. Like you don't want to post online and then leave the platform. You need to go engage with other people. But I know there are tons of people who don't want to post on LinkedIn. They're terrified of it. My boss is going to see it, or I don't want to look stupid to my peers. We all have weird social pressures on it. The beauty with LinkedIn is if you just comment, you still bring your profile value up. So your profile rises as you comment. So even if you don't want to post, if you're the person who's going on every day and thoughtfully engaging by commenting well, not just nice post on other people's posts, it's going to lift up your name. And you can also build relationships through that, right? If you're constantly posting on my content, I'm going to notice your name.
Go back to this concept of thoughtful posting. Please define that a bit more and maybe give some examples of what that would be.
Okay, first off, let's rule out birthday posts and work anniversary posts and congrats on the new position. Those are all things you should do. That's just called being a caring, kind person. Say congrats, say happy birthday. So now that we've ruled those out of the way, a thoughtful post to me is yes-anding their post. So in the world of improv, the number one concept of improv is yes and. If anyone watched The Office with Michael Scott, he was horrible at this. He did what you're not supposed to do, right? He would change the scene. What you're supposed to do in improv is if I walk in and say, oh, this ice cream shop is so cold, I can't believe they have the air conditioning on. You're not supposed to go, no, it's not. It's the heat. You're supposed to go, yes, and I brought a sweater to keep you warm. Like, you need to add on to what they're doing. So in posting, I say yes and with your comments is a thoughtful comment. Don't be negative. Don't go against a post, right? This is what we all hate about Facebook is that somebody could say something as innocuous as like, oh, I had a great time at the water park today. And somebody else go, that water park is trash. And you're like, what? Why did we have to do this? So on LinkedIn, a thoughtful comment is reading what the person wrote and then thinking, how can I yes and this by going, yes, and then adding something else to the conversation that's positive. So I didn't write this one yet. This is not going to be the greatest example in the world, but somebody did a post the other day talking about TikTok. It's 2 capital T's. YouTube, it's a capital Y, a capital T, not just capital Y, OUTUBE with no capitalization. And they were proving this point of this matters. This is a company name. It's a corporation name. It matters. And I know it's going to get a lot of dissent on it. In fact, I saw someone just write, nobody cares. And I went, that's not a thoughtful comment. But something I could do to say yes and is I worked on Jeopardy. Fun fact, the exclamation point at the end of Jeopardy is part of the name. It's part of the trademark. And when we wrote for the company, if you didn't put that on an email, you were getting called into the executive producer. And so it would be simple. It's not contributing anything deep, but just even contributing another example to go, oh, it is so important. When I worked here, this mattered. Even that counts. So yes, anding, I would also say something more than 5 words, if you really want to keep it simple. But those are kind of the main ways of thoughtful commenting.
Oh, good. Well, Cassandra, you have given us a lot to think about. I think some of the biggest takeaways I've heard is, again, don't rush into it. Really focus on being thoughtful and showing that care, building the relationship. So, you have so much going on and you're really focused on helping people with this and teaching people to be more thoughtful in how they're going out there. So I would love to hear what is next for you.
Yeah, next for me, I am in the process of creating a course on how to become a natural networker. So to do it organically, authentically, making actual connections instead of seeing it transactionally. And with that, I also have a membership, One Hello Society. It is a community for those folks who do value people and want to put relationships first, but just like all of us, sometimes they get put on the back burner of the to-do list. And so we have dedicated co-working time and time to get together to build all of our relationships together. So those are 2 big things that I'm working on.
Love it. And we're going to be sure to put all of that information and the information on your coaching program in the show notes. So for all of you following, go and check those out. Just these little tweaks can make the biggest difference in how you're growing your visibility and delivering your value to others. So Cassandra, before I let you go, I have one last question for you.
Okay.
Sitting where you sit today, learning everything that you've learned up to this point in your life, how do you define success for yourself today?
Freedom. I could expand, but to me, success is being able to make choices in the everyday.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here and for sharing all of your wisdom. I know that the people who are following this are going to walk away with just so much to think about. And I know that they're going to be able to really amplify what they're doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I really love that conversation. And I think Cassandra has made it so simple. Some of the things that I took away is the idea that networking is not about using people. It's not about using people just so you can grow your business. It's about being more thoughtful. And I loved the terminology that she used about showing care, thinking about how can you really connect with this person, get to know them and add value. It doesn't even have to be in a work area, but being able to be present in the conversations. She used the terminology of don't rush in too quickly. So again, don't go in just for the sale. Let's build a relationship. Let's see if there's even a genuine connection, if this is even somebody that you would want to be working with, and just, being present there. I love the idea where she said, when you are reaching out to someone, be honest. Just let them know, I met you this way, or I was following you here. I would love to learn more. Be honest. Even though some people may never respond, the right ones will. So always be honest, always be authentic, and show up to learn more than just to sell. And I love how she talked about thoughtful commenting. Again, this is not a platform for confrontation or controversy or anything like that. And when somebody else posts something, you don't need to knock them down. I love the concept of the yes and. How can you contribute to that post? How can you add in your spin, your flair to show your expertise and also bolster it? So remember, when you comment, it's going to rise your profile up. So you don't just want to go in there and just post. You want to spend some time, at least 30 minutes a day, going in and commenting on others, because that's going to help you build your strength. At the end of the day, we're all in sales. Doesn't matter what we do, we're all in sales. And relationships do matter. You're going to have better results, better business, better bottom line. And it all starts with the relationships. So I hope you took away some value. Would love to hear back from you. If you want to drop us a little note and let us know some of the nuggets that you took. Please remember that this show is all about bringing you clarity. It's about changing your perception so that we can help you take decisive action. So make sure that you are liking, following, and rating the show, and also make sure to share it. Let's go ahead and share it with at least 3 other people so we can bring clarity to them as well. My name is Clara Capano, and I'll see you next time for another episode of Clarity in Action.